This week on Ebert and Roeper, Edward Burns and Heather Graham meet on the sidewalks of New York.
Tragedy strikes Sissy Spacek and Marissa Tomei in the drama In the Bedroom.
And dentist Steve Martin tumbles for Helena Bonham Carter and into larceny in Novocaine.
So are you writing anything now?
No. You know, every time I try and get started, something comes up from work and I just get distracted.
Well, maybe one day I'll be in Barnes & Noble and I'll see one of your books on the shelves and I'll pick it up.
Heather Graham and Edward Burns do a verbal two-step around their obvious mutual attraction in Sidewalks of New York, one of 5 new movies we'll review this week. I'm Roger Ebert.
And I'm Richard Roeper. Sidewalks of New York was scheduled to open September 21st, but the release date was pushed back amid concerns that audiences wouldn't be in the right frame of mind to see a relationship movie set in Manhattan. I was taken out of the story when Edward Burns did a monologue against the backdrop of the World Trade Center and when Heather Graham talked about her generation living in a time of no great strife. Still, that doesn't mean Sidewalks of New York should have been shelved.
I was just wondering, have you seen this?
No.
It's really good. I mean, it's very different.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, I'd love to help you out here, but I gotta watch this for work.
Oh, really? You sure? They've got like a great selection of other...
Yeah, no, I know, but I gotta see this one.
That's Rosario Dawson as Maria, a school teacher who has a brief but meaningful relationship with Burns' Tommy, who's in search of an apartment after his girlfriend dumped him. Graham plays his realtor.
Well, I'm sure your wife would love it. How many kids do you have?
My wife? I'll let you know when I meet her. So what about you? Any kids?
No.
You married, though? That's a wedding ring on your finger, right?
Yeah.
Happy?
Are you writing a book?
Graham's husband is a philandering dentist played by Stanley Tucci. In a flashback scene, we see how he met his teenage mistress.
You have a very different look. It's not I mean, you're not a classic beauty. I think you have the look of the new millennium.
The look of the new millennium.
Yeah.
And that's Brittany Murphy from Don't Say a Word and Riding in Cars with Boys and Summer Catch. I bet her agent's riding around in a new car these days. Sidewalks of New York is so derivative of vintage Woody Allen that writer, director, star Burns should almost be giving Woody a screen credit. But what's so bad about imitating Manhattan or Hannah and her sisters? This is a wonderful cast led by the hilarious, duplicitous Stanley Tucci, the spunky Brittany Murphy, and the lovely Rosario Dawson. Sidewalks of New York is a love letter to a city and a populace that deserve it.
Now that I agree with, and I think the movie should have been released on September the 21st, because what the heck? All movies shot before September 11th are going to come from a different world, and that's just the way it is. And this movie is a love letter to this city and to these 3 couples, or actually 3.5 couples, who kind of do a rondelay and wind up switching partners, and maybe if they make a sequel in 3 years, they will have all switched again, because...
That's a good point. Why don't they make a sequel? They don't make sequels to movies like this, usually these character-driven relationship movies. We just leave them where they're at, and they give us sequels to stuff I don't want to see sequels to. And Burns is he's a really solid writer. He's had a couple of clunkers, maybe because he just didn't grow too much, but I think he listens
to the dialogue. He has people talk intelligently to each other. And Stanley Tucci, you know, it's one thing to cheat on your wife with your mistress, but to cheat on your mistress with your wife, now that's going too far.
All right.
Our next movie is In the Bedroom, and this is one of the most powerful films of the year, the story of 2 families torn apart by a violent man. Marissa Tomei stars as a divorced mother who's dating Nick Stahl, a man about 10 years younger than she is. That's not the only problem. A bigger one is her abusive ex-husband, Richard, played by William Apother, who won't accept the fact that his marriage is over.
What I'm talking about moving back is what I'm talking about.
You don't change, do you?
No. No, I don't change. Everything around me changes. You change. You take my house, and you take my kids.
Richard returns and tears up the place, and in a later encounter injures the Nick Stahl character. His parents, played by Sissy Spacek and Tom Wilkinson, are worried that the situation will get way out of hand.
You gonna press charges?
No. Well, what's to stop him from doing it again?
Did you hit him at all? Come on, tell me you hit him. Just so he doesn't do it again.
The heart of the movie involves those 2 parents who love their son in different ways and perhaps view his relationship with Marissa Tomei in different ways. Their scenes together are truthful and intimate.
Oh, God, you don't think he wants to...
Oh, he's not gonna marry her.
Well, then what's he doing with her?
She probably loves him. Girls always have. Let's just leave it at that.
In the Bedroom was directed by Todd Field, himself an actor, and he shows close attention to the nuances of the performances. Tomei is wonderfully warm and conflicted as the divorced mom, and Nick Stahl does a fascinating job. But the movie belongs to Tom Wilkinson, and especially to Sissy Spacek, whose performance takes it in a surprising direction and focuses on how grief sometimes turns to anger and starts looking around for a target.
There are Oscar-quality performances from Sissy Spacek, from Wilkinson, and Marissa Tomei here. And there were moments when I was watching this film where it just took my breath away, not because something so shocking happened, but because of the dialogue and the situations these characters are in. It's so real, and there's so much tension, and you're on the edge of your seat just watching these great actors recite this wonderful dialogue, interpret this wonderful dialogue.
You're right. And you know, one of the things that Todd Field does here is he reveals things that are going on underneath. So you think you know, let's say in the first half hour, what the movie is about, and in the first hour, what you think the movie is about. Right. And then all this time, Sissy Spacek and, in his own way, Tom Wilkinson are preparing surprises for us right there in full view, and then suddenly they break loose of what's going on inside of themselves and makes it into a whole other movie.
It's a really powerful piece of work. Okay, coming up later in the show, Steve Martin gets mixed up in murder in Novocaine.
Why don't you talk to your little friend with the red panties, huh? I bet she knows more than I do.
And coming up next, 3 former classmates have a tense reunion in Tape.
Well, I guess it just didn't work out.
Women these days have no reason to hang around potentially violent guys. It's not an attractive quality to them anymore. Too many other guys out there with resolved violent tendencies.
Oh, so I'm out of fashion.
Ethan Hawke and Robert Sean Leonard are still hashing out unresolved issues 10 years after high school in Tape. This is a powerful and disturbing work from director Richard Linklater, whose brilliant Waking Life is also in theaters now. He goes in a very different direction here with this shot-on-video adaptation of Stephen Belber's provocative play set entirely in a third-rate motel room in Lansing, Michigan. Dead Poets Society graduates Hawke and Leonard are Vince and John. Vince is a pot-dealing slacker, John a promising film director.
We should just accept the fact that we're a little different from each other and let the friendship go from there.
Accept the fact that we're a little different from each other.
Yeah.
Would you like to make me?
Make you what?
Accept that fact.
Uma Thurman is Vince's high school girlfriend who may have been date raped by John at the end of senior year.
We're all mature adults. Why can't we talk about a high school crush happened 10 years ago?
Fine, then I'm going to let you two have this discussion without me.
All right. Before you go, I'm just curious as to why nothing came of Amy's crush for you. Amy?
All three are strong here, but Thurman is unforgettable. Her transitions from flippant manipulation to searing honesty represent some of the best work of her versatile career. Tape plays in real time in a cramped space, but there are a lot of surprises lurking in the corners of that room. Belber's fierce dialogue and Linklater's nimble camera work seem to take us out of that room, actually, as we digest the various explanations for what happened to these people a decade earlier. This is a stark portrayal of a relationship triangle that's been horribly tainted by macho competition.
Yeah, that's what's happening in that room is these two guys are still fighting over that girl after 10 years. Yeah. And they're going through all these postures of righteousness and self-justification, and she comes in and calls both of their bluffs.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting the way it builds and builds. It's kind of like Mamet's play Oleana, except it has an entirely different angle on what went on, where what went on 10 years ago is not the same thing as who's to blame or who even owns the blame today.
Yeah, they think it's going to happen this way, and Ethan Hawke's character thinks he's got all the answers here, and he gets knocked on his rear end, verbally speaking, not literally. And everybody changes in a different way by what happens in that room, but not the way we expect. And here's another example of a film that doesn't rely on any kind of special effects. It really is just in this room, but it's fascinating. There's no wasted energy.
There's no place for those actors to hide. They are on camera all the time, and they are so good. You look at a movie like this, and you feel in a way sorry for them that career considerations sometimes make them appear in movies where they can't show that they're this good.
But lucky for us that they could do something like this.
Coming up next, Steve Martin's teeth get set on edge, way on edge in Novocaine.
Someone is trying to set me up.
And looking ahead to next week, we'll have a special program, Ebert Roeper's American Film Festival.
Jean was my fiancée, the kind of all-American woman who could cook a perfect banana bread, then turn around and reorganize the entire office, and still look great at the end of the day.
In the opening scenes of Novocaine, Steve Martin's character, Dr. Frank Sangster, seems to have everything going for him. He's a successful dentist, he has money in the bank, and he's engaged to marry his pretty dental hygienist, Jean, played by Laura Dern. Then everything goes wrong when a sex bot named Susan steps into his chair. Played by Helena Bonham Carter, she seems to make up her rules as she goes along.
Can I ask you something? Ever do it in the chair? Ever do it in the chair?
One of the first hints of trouble comes when the dentist gets a call from the drugstore. Susan altered his prescription for a popular painkiller.
Whoa. She's a looker, huh?
Yeah, I guess. Well, good night.
By the way, 50 tabs is way over the limit. Next time, I won't fill it.
You mean 5?
No, I mean 50. That's what it said. Demerol, 50.
There are also two brothers involved. The dentist brother Harlan, played by Elias Koteas, a shiftless freeloader.
They were supposed to be like this, right? Like what? You with everything, me with nothing.
And Susan's brother Dwayne, played by Scott Kahn, a violent psychopath.
Please leave.
No, I won't. What, are you going to make me go?
And get behind me. You got a problem? You got a problem?
Whoa, hey, Jean, take it easy. You're tall.
Mm-hmm.
I like tall women.
Well, then stand up.
All right, look.
Novocaine is a comedy that turns weird, with a plot that twists and turns to reveal surprises, while all the time Steve Martin's character desperately tries to put the lid back on and contain the damage. I like the way David Atkins' screenplay alternated light and dark humor, keeping the characters off balance.
I didn't like much about this film. One of my problems is you said Helena Bonham Carter is a sex pot. She's just a crackpot, and I don't find her attractive, so maybe that's my issue. But I don't believe that Steve Martin would throw his whole life away for her, or at least go in all these weird directions for her. Also, all the characters in this movie...
I think you'd be surprised how many dentists would throw their lives away for Helena Bonham Carter.
Well, then that says a sad thing about the lives of a lot of dentists, if that's true.
No.
The other thing is, Roger, all these characters, when they make their entrances, it's like, I'm colorful, I'm eccentric, look at me. They're all so self-aware. The Scott Kahn character, Laura Dern overplays things. The entrance the brother makes to Steve Martin's house is just ludicrous. And from the start, I knew this was going to be a movie that's very self-aware about how wacky it is.
Well, it is wacky. And you know, in wacky movies, wacky people do wacky things. That's what a movie like that is about.
But if they're so aware they're doing those wacky things, I feel like I'm being left out of the party.
You're criticizing this movie for not being a different movie in a different genre with different purposes.
Well, I would have liked to have seen all the characters in a different movie. This movie was not
and I love
effective.
the way the plot turns around. And come on now, Helena Bonham Carter, you don't think she's sexy?
No, I don't.
You thought she was sexy in Planet of the Apes?
She had a better wardrobe, okay? All right, let's move on. Our next movie, very different kind of movie. It tells the story of one of the most legendary survival stories of the 20th century, the Shackleton expedition of 1914. Now, these days we hear about bored millionaires trying to circle the globe in hot air balloons. Well, they might as well be playing croquet when compared to Sir Ernest Shackleton, who was obsessed with becoming the first to cross the Antarctic on foot. Shackleton and a crew of 27 set out in a 3-masted wooden sailing ship, the Endurance. Liam Neeson is the narrator who tells the tale.
Shackleton brought along 69 Canadian sled dogs. Food supplies would also be depoted for the 6-man sledging party that would make the 1,500-mile journey across the Antarctic continent.
Shackleton was only 1 day away from Antarctica when his ship was trapped in a frozen vice. He and his men were locked in place for 10 months.
In July, a blizzard wrecked the Endurance. As the ice groaned and heaved, Shackleton paced his cabin. Captain Worsley recalled,
"He said to me, the ship can't live in this, skipper. It's only a matter of time. What the ice gets, the ice keeps."
When the ship crumbled, the men started walking for 5 more months. And then a small crew set out for the closest thing to civilization, Elephant Island.
It was a year and 4 months since they had touched land.
The amazingly crisp 35mm footage and the still photos in the Endurance were taken by one Frank Hurley, who risked his life back then to salvage the film when the ship went down. Director George Butler also relied on entries from the men's journals, interviews with the now-grown children of some crew members, and his own breathtaking footage shot on an expedition that retraced Shackleton's journey. In one sense, the Antarctic mission was a failure, but the 2-year odyssey and Shackleton's refusal to let his men perish were even more impressive than his original dream.
This is an amazing movie, and I really hope that people go out of the way to see it on the big screen, because the fact that this footage exists, that they not only were in the middle of nowhere for months on end, fearing for their lives, but that motion picture and still photos survived from that time to let us see even the dogs. We get to know the dogs and the various members of the crew. And what they did in going in that little boat across 800 miles of open sea in order to try to get help back, and how successful they were, is one of the great stories of human
But you're so right about this film, and it's so crisp and clear. It's in better shape than some movies that have been allowed to disintegrate over the last 20 or 25 years and have kind of crumbled away. It's just so amazing. You keep thinking, that's real stuff. That's not a recreation. That's not an enhanced thing. That's what the guy shot 80 years ago, 90 years ago.
This is one of the movies that people really should go to see, even though it may not be playing in every single multiplex. It's worth that trip.
It's worth seeking out, definitely.
In the video spotlight this week, a 2-for-1 sale featuring 2 major American independent directors.
Ebert Roeper's Video Spotlight is brought to you by Nestle Raisinets. Try Raisinets in new, convenient, resealable bags.
Hey, can I help you?
Can't be too careful nowadays, you know. A lot of tea leaves about. You know what I mean?
Excuse me?
Tea leaves. Thieves. Terry Valentine. Do you know him?
Sometimes a good deal comes along and you can't explain it, but you don't complain. In the video spotlight this week are 2 intriguing recent movies by different major directors, Steven Soderbergh and Jim Jarmusch, that have been bundled together for the price of one. On one disc is The Limey, Soderbergh's 1999 film starring Terence Stamp as a British ex-con who travels to Los Angeles seeking revenge against the killer of his daughter. Peter Fonda plays the man he's looking for, and both actors give convincing character performances that make the movie much more than a crime thriller, more of a meditation on pride.
Tell me about Jenny. Tell me about Jenny.
I needed money. I would have given her anything she wanted, but she didn't want it. She found out about my deal. She tried to stop me.
Maybe in a way that's also the theme of Jim Jarmusch's Ghost Dog, a movie from 1999 starring Forrest Whitaker as a hitman who works for a mafioso but never sees them. He follows the way of the samurai, which in his case is a lonely and sad way, although the movie has some wonderful offbeat humor in it. Forrest Whitaker in Ghost Dog and Terence Stamp and Peter Fonda in The Limey do some of the best acting in their careers. Jarmusch and Soderbergh are 2 of the leading independent directors right now, and I think it's interesting that Artisan Entertainment has bundled these 2 titles together for the usual price of 1 DVD. It's going to be in stores in a week or 2.
Okay, when we come back, my parting shot.
Join Roger and Richard for the 2nd annual Ebert and Roeper Film Festival at Sea. Set sail to the Bahamas, February 28th through March 3rd, 2002, aboard the Disney Wonder, with a stop at Disney's own private island paradise, Castaway Cay. Call your travel agent or 1-800-945-3806.
I'm nervous. I'm very nervous. Are you a bit overwhelmed? Overwhelmed, but so excited and so thrilled to be here.
The Daniel Radcliffe we saw at the London premiere of Harry Potter was more mature looking than the Daniel Radcliffe we see in the actual movie. Emma Watson and Rupert Grint are also sprouting rapidly, as muggles of that age are apt to do. This could be a problem for the series. What happens if Grint ends up 8 inches taller than Radcliffe, or one of the kids goes through a really awkward phase? We might end up with Harry Potter and the bulging Adam's apple. The teen years can be rough on movie youngsters. Just ask Anthony Michael Hall or Macaulay Culkin. I just hope these kids don't surrender too much of their real lives to the intense demands of doing one Harry Potter movie after another as quickly as possible, and that's my parting shot.
Okay, recapping this week's movies, 2 thumbs up for Sidewalks of New York, 2 very enthusiastic thumbs up for In the Bedroom. Both of those movies open next week. 2 more thumbs up for Tape, We split on Novocaine, but 2 thumbs up for the Endurance, and I hope people look for that one.
I hope so, too. Remember, you can visit our website at ebertandroper.tv and read us in print at suntimes.com. Next week, a special show, Ebert and Roeper's American Film Festival. Until then, the balcony is closed.
You know, I'm still thinking about the Endurance, and I wonder why it is that people have such a built-in reluctance to go to see documentaries in movie theaters, even after we tell them how amazing it is.
Because for some reason, when you hear the word documentary, a lot of people think, oh, it's like they're in 6th grade again and they have to watch some movie that they're going to fall asleep in school.
Right now at Baskin-Robbins, take home 2 pre-packed quarts for just $6. It's the perfect time to try something new. Baskin-Robbins, what's your flavor?
Video games blast through batteries and your money. So arm yours with Rayovac Maximum. They have long-lasting alkaline power for less. Rayovac.
These babies were conceived using the Clear Plan Easy Fertility Monitor. It identifies more fertile days each cycle than any leading method. Clear Plan, clear results.
For service done right the first time, count on the pros at Meineke for your mufflers, brakes, and shocks.
At Meineke, you'll get a lot, but you won't pay a lot.
Closed captioning for Ebert and Roeper is brought to you by